Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky, and each of you joining us online. We always appreciate and love when you like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Share the video out with friends and family if you find that you like the content. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about symbology, and specifically the symbol of the six-pointed star. There is so much hidden wisdom in so many symbols that we have, and I could write a series on several classes just on the symbology that we see of the six-pointed star or the five-pointed star, different symbology that comes in with that one as well. And I felt really compelled. I've been teaching a bit with this lately, and I don't know how many of you know what the symbols mean in this. So when you look at the six-pointed star, it's really two triangles that are interlocking, and anytime you see a triangle, a pyramid that's pointing down, like the first triangle that's in the six-pointed star, it is representative of the light of divinity coming down to humanity. We have in Reiki, we often talk about the different levels of heavens and how this earth, our humanity, all of the rocks and trees and people and all of the various animals that are here are part of the first level of heaven. And it's considered a heaven, although somebody might feel like it's the opposite sometimes. This world can be hard at times, but it's considered a heaven because it's still part of the spark of the creation, the light that is everything throughout the universe and many other places beyond that. And so whenever there's a pyramid that's pointing down, it can be seen as a reminder to us in a way as a reminder that divine light, that divine spark, whatever name you want to call it by, however you perceive the energy that created everything that is here, it's symbolic as a reminder of that expansiveness, like the top part of the pyramid, that flat base, that expansiveness that comes all the way down into a point that it reaches us here. And it reminds us that we are a spark of that exact same light. In the same way that if you have a funnel, if you think of a funnel that you use maybe in cooking or mechanics or something like that, whenever you pour into the top of the funnel, all of the energy or whatever you pour in, it's going to flow down through that narrow point that's at the opening. So that same way, that pyramid reminds us of that light of divinity, that light of love, that spark of hope, that reminder of who we are at our core that's flowing down to remind us of who we are here and to remind us of all of the wealth of power and joy and possibilities that we contain within us, because we contain all the same stuff that we were made of. And when you see a pyramid, anytime you see a pyramid that is reaching up and pointing upwards, it's a reminder of us and our continual climb, no matter what culture you're in or what faith you have or whatever your beliefs are, there's a part of you that is always looking for something more, trying to seek something that maybe you see it as within yourself, or maybe you see it as outside of yourself, but it's like seeking something higher. And that's what we see with the pyramid that points up. It's our quest in humanity of always reaching back up to where we came from and whatever that looks like to you. And so when you get those two pyramids that are interlocked with each other, it really shows how we on this plane, it's always this perpetual dance of moving up and down the ladder. It's like that energy that comes down to us, that divine spark coming down to us. And as it reaches this earth, you might even see it as it reaches a new birth of somebody that's born, or an animal that was born, or yourself. As it reaches here and it bursts into this beautiful physical manifestation, not long after we begin our journey here, we're trying to remember, where did we come from? What do we belong to? Where is our sense of higher purpose? How do we actualize what our purpose here on earth is? When we ask the questions like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why did this happen? It's something that we can see within ourselves, like that pyramid that's pointing up. We're trying to understand. We're trying to figure out. We're rising up in our consciousness by moving up through that pyramid that points up. And as it's a perpetual dance, you may have heard the term grounding. Sometimes we talk about feeling very ungrounded. If life is very a little bit crazy at the time, maybe you feel a lot of anxiety about a decision that you're making. Maybe you have a person in your life that you feel more grounded when you're around because they feel like a support for you. When we reference the energy of feeling grounded or needing to be grounded, it's something that is contained in that pyramid that's pointing down. Almost as though that pyramid pointing down is a reminder that we need to connect with this earth that we're part of. We need to connect with our humanity. We need to connect with the spirit of the earth, the aspects of nature that are around us. You've probably noticed that when you get really stressed, if you go outside and you just get some fresh air, or even better, you go out to the woods, you allow yourself to walk through a forest, or even just walking through your neighborhood, if that's what's easier. When we get out into nature, we start to feel, and on a chemical level, they've done testing on this, on a chemical level, we start to shift, our neurons start to relax, our brain waves go into a bit of a slower wave so that we can feel a sense of peace. That's because we're grounding ourselves. That's where the word comes from. We're connecting with the ground. We're connecting with the earth instead of being all up in our thoughts. We can even see that six-pointed star as being something that overlays the human body too, as though you stand in the center of the star. And when you think of it that way, it's as though you can see at the mind level, if we're grounded, then it feels like there's a sense of protection that we have around us, a sense of stability. If you think of that star, the bottom pyramid that points down, it's like the bottom point on that really is anchored into the earth. It penetrates down into the very bottom of the earth. We'll flash a graphic on the screen showing how when you look directly at the six-pointed star, you're going to see there are several pyramids that are inside it. Obviously the two big ones that you see, but then there's that point that goes down that is grounding because it really literally goes down into the earth. It's the point that connects us to remembering we're here for a reason, and to learn to love our humanity, to love the senses that we have in this earth. Sometimes the world can feel a bit heavy, and we tend to want to try to run from our lives, or we wish for something better, or we wish that things changed, or I've heard people talk at times about wanting to go back to the stars, or just to be not here. If that is running through your mind, the best thing to do is to connect with this energy of the earth, to let yourself get grounded, to fill up the bottom portion of that pyramid that's coming down, that represents your divine spark of your soul coming down into this beautiful realm here. And when you're in that bottom pyramid, when you're occupying your space in that, it's as though you feel the comfort of the earth. And if you stay in that space for too long, then there will be like a knocking that you feel internally. There will be a calling that your soul begins to hear. If you sometimes feel like you get in a rut with things going on around you, maybe you feel like your job has been the same, or your life is filled with routine, and maybe it felt good for a while, but you're missing something. You're starting to get a little bit bored or a little bit restless. It's probably because your soul is telling you it's craving something more. We're not supposed to just climb that ladder down and stay down. It's a ladder we're constantly going up and down between the two pyramids. And so when you feel that restlessness, when you feel like you've been very well grounded, then it's time to start climbing back up. The pyramid pointing down represents our grounded self, our self that connects to our humanity, our self that connects to this earth and all of the people and animals and everything beautiful that is here. The pyramid that's pointing up represents us rising back up into our highest purpose, rising back up into asking, why did I come into this life? Why would I have chosen to have the people around me in this life that I have around me? What am I here to give? Maybe you feel a calling in your soul and you feel like, I know there's something I'm supposed to share. I know there's something I'm supposed to teach. Maybe you've been able to recognize through so many challenges that you've had in your life, you've attained some pretty amazing wisdom that you want to share with others. That wisdom is what we see in the pyramid that points up. It's a symbol of our humanity rising up into our divinity. We are not just one or the other. We're not just this half or that half. We are the interlocking of both of those. There's so many ways that we can see that symbolized throughout our bodies as well. Inside the cell, there's the electron and the neutron that feed off of each other. In our DNA, it's two strands that are braided together, that are woven, that work together with switches that come on and off. Everything in our genetic makeup, as well as within our minds, our patterns and our thoughts. It's always this going up and down, connecting with who we are on this earth, learning how to be grounded in this life, learning how to learn to love the aspects of this life. It might sometimes feel really hard and you have to struggle to find, what are you grateful for? Why did you want to be here? But those answers come from connecting with the earth. And then those higher answers are always what come next, where we want to know higher purpose. What is there out there? What is beyond this world? Why was this world even created? All of those questions will connect in with our divine purpose. Sometimes it's up to us in a journey to want to know all of those answers. Sometimes a journey in this life might not really care about a lot of those answers, but there will always be a semblance that you can see of how you're traveling up and down through these pyramids. There's something that's called the Merkaba that really correlates to a lot of ancient Egyptian, the Mer, the Ka, and the Ba, the mind, the body, and the spirit, and it's a travel vehicle. And it's astrologically, and they've had Merkabas that they've found that it have permeated in different cultures. In Buddhism, it's there as well, where they reference divine beings coming down to this planet, traveling through the Merkaba. And it is also something that is practiced in different metaphysical traditions, where we will place ourselves in an energetic Merkaba so that we can feel our spirit traveling back up into those higher realms, so that we can communicate with the level of the angels or with the bodhisattvas, and really bringing that wisdom back and forth in the human realm and in the divine. There are so many aspects of our daily lives. If we take our blinders off and we just look at what we're doing in our lives, and we look at what our millions of thoughts are that we have in a day, that we can start to see where we feel comfortable in those pyramids. Where do you find yourself often going? Do you often find yourself going up into that higher thought? Sometimes if you're not grounded, if you're just going into those higher realms, sometimes anxiety comes in, because we're here in this life in a human body to experience things in a very physical way, a way that is engaging all of our senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, time, space, all of those things that in some ways are really constructs of illusion that we've created. But they're here because we're supposed to be going through them. If you find yourself avoiding that and always spending your time in meditation and communicating in the upper realms, that's where anxiety comes in, and you need to recognize that everything is in balance. So moving from that pyramid pointing up to coming back down into your grounded self, letting yourself play here. If you feel like you've kind of gotten into a rut here, you find that you feel your life just doesn't have any meaning. It's all about the day to day and what's coming next, or you just feel that kind of loss and longing, then that's a sign that maybe you need to move from your grounded self into doing some of the things that lift you into those higher realms as well. Throughout our lives, we will be constantly in a flux of back and forth, in and out, moving up and down that ladder. It's a beautiful thing when we start to recognize that we are always at the center of that pyramid of light wherever we are in our lives. We have the capacity and the capability to move down and to rise up, but we need to be aware of who we are, what we are doing, what are we thinking, and what do we need. So oftentimes what we need is not more of the same of what we've been doing. What we need oftentimes is to shift up or down, to create that variability within our lives. It's often called the Star of David. It's referenced when they're interlocked in a multi-dimensional, like a three-dimensional representation. It's called the Merkaba. There are so many lessons and so many beautiful wisdoms that we can draw from so many aspects just within this one simple symbol. I hope that gives you some food for thought of how you can begin to apply some of that wisdom that comes in from the six-pointed star throughout your week today, and maybe do some journaling exercises on it. Write down this week, what is it that causes you to feel very comfortable in this life? What is it how do you feel when you feel very safe and secure? And what do you derive pleasure from in the physical sense in this life? Lean into those as part of your grounding and your connection, that pyramid that points down. And then what is it that the voice of your soul calls to you about? What is it that inspires your spirit? What is it that really gets you up with this zest sometimes of wanting to learn more, wanting to understand more? What things do you have maybe pop into your head as aha moments or unexpected tidbits of wisdom? Oftentimes when we settle into meditation, we can go into a space of either imagination, where we allow our mind to kind of run free a bit, or we go into a state of silence, where we let our mind just simply rest and breathe for a minute. Or we may find ourselves going into a space where lots of wisdom comes in. So play with this idea a bit this week as you journal, as you perhaps meditate and then journal afterwards again, and do a little bit of an inventory in your life. Are there certain times of day that you tend to find yourself more in the grounded self, and certain times of day where you find yourself more in that aspect of rising up within yourself? Maybe there are certain days of the week that you find yourself more in one versus the other. But start to do an inventory. Ask yourself some questions and allow yourself to dig deeper to see how you can increase and expand that flow, expanding the pyramid connecting to the earth, expanding the pyramid that's connecting to the light of divinity that is within you and all around you. Hope that is something that you can enjoy doing this week. We always love your feedback too when you reach back out to us, letting us know what you discovered when you did your journaling or what things you noticed as you pondered on these lessons. We appreciate each and every one of you so much. If you found this video useful, please share it out with someone else. And remember to go to our website, earthandskyscenter.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.